There is a perception that creating a will take care of everything when it comes to end-of-life planning and distributing your assets. That is simply not true. Today, we're going to see how important it is to name beneficiaries on each of your accounts. For that, we turn to Safe Harbor Retirement Group President Cory Sickles. It is always good to have you on, Cory.
Glad to be here, Robin.
All right, first of all, when you talk about beneficiaries, what kind of accounts need those? I feel like we always kind of hear that word, right? But is it vital to put them on everything?
Yeah, so just think about a financial account in general. So if you have a 401k or a 403b or any type of business type of retirement account, you want to be able to do that. But you might have bank accounts, you might have life insurance, you might have brokerage accounts, and you can even put a beneficiary on your house as well. And just like you said at the beginning of it, everyone thinks, oh, well, I have a will, it's going to take care of everything.
Right.
But if you don't set it up the right way, now you're going to go through probate, and it's going to delay, it could possibly delay when people get their money.
Okay, so then why is it so important, aside from that, Cory, to make sure you're doing the beneficiaries and to make sure you're updating them? I feel like that's a big important step that sometimes people don't remember.
Well, things happen in life. Right.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure as things change, you're also updating that. Whether someone passes away or whether a divorce, right? I mean, I've had clients or prospects come in, and as we review their beneficiaries, they got a divorce and their old pension still with their ex-spouse.
Yeah.
So I mean, things happen in life, and you just want to make sure that you review that. I always say at least once a year, just to make sure that everything is the right way that you want it to go, because that is exactly how it's going to go. It doesn't matter if you have a will or a trust.
Right.
It's whatever's on that beneficiary's record is how those funds are going to be distributed.
So it's not a set it and forget it. It's not the kind of thing where something else will supersede that or kind of trump that situation, right?
That's exactly right. So that's why it's so important to make sure and keep the documentation, right? Because ultimately it's up to you. If you send something in, paperwork in, and it's not updated by that particular company, that's why you want to be able to keep that. And we store all of our stuff in a generational vault for our clients, so they have access to that information 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Okay, all right, Cory, what are some things then people don't consider when naming beneficiaries? Is this something they need to put more thought into sometimes, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times people think people are going to pass away in the right order.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it necessarily doesn't happen that way. So, the other part of it is, the way I always kind of look at it is, if, say, you have a daughter or a son, right? And maybe you have two daughters or two sons. If something happens to one of them, you want to make sure now you maybe have contingent beneficiaries, so that's going to go to the grandchildren. You don't want to also then possibly exclude or disinherit part of the what I consider the bloodline as well.
Okay.
So having contingent beneficiaries is crucial, and it can be a little bit more complicated. Whether you want to do what we call per stirpes or per capita, and that's just whether you want to go bloodline or not. But that's why I think sitting down with a financial professional, we can make sure that you understand what that truly means, the way you have it set up, and because at the end of the day, everyone wants it to go the right way.
Right. And they want it to go the way they want it to. I mean, I watch Game of Thrones. Sometimes the bloodline is not your best bet, okay?
No, that's exactly
how that
right.
works. And the other thing, too, are there different rules for different accounts, Cory?
Yes, there can be different rules with different accounts on how the money is going to be distributed. And that, again, I think if you sit down with a professional, we're going to be able to show you that. And I think a lot of people, the three issues we always see, usually if you're working with us, financial records are okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The three things that people have issues with are houses, bank accounts, and vehicles. And there's a proper way to be able to do that as long as you plan for it. And if you don't do it, those three things will go to probate. Now you're going to pay someone a 5% fee, and you might have to wait 6, 9, 10 months in order to actually get assets, for your money.
Can consolidating these things make it any easier, Cory?
I think consolidation's always easier,
yeah.
Right? I mean, as we age, you forget things, right?
Yeah.
So I think by having the least amount of accounts it's going to be a little bit more efficient for you to be able to manage as well. And more importantly, it's going to be a lot easier to manage if you do pass away, for now your trustee or your executor of your account to know where all your assets truly are, to make sure it gets distributed the right way as well.
Right, and as we've talked, if you know, a lot of times when you have to deal with beneficiaries, something happened. So it's a time where you're dealing with a lot of other things as well, emotions, and so to make this seamless is what you want for your family, right?
Yeah, and I think when we start, you know, we talk to most of our clients, that's exactly what they want to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much emotion involved when someone passes away, and some of it can be unexpected, which even makes the emotion even worse.
Right.
And the last thing you want to be worrying about is, how am I going to end up possibly, you know, paying for the funeral and things like that? But if it's set up the right way, you can have access to that cash pretty quick.
All right. All of this reasons, of course, to go talk to a professional, somebody who knows the ins and outs of everything. So you can reach Cory and his team. The number there, you get a complimentary meeting, of course, 2 locations that you can visit Cory at there. So thank you so much, Cory.
Thank you, Robin.